introduction to Asian food or Asian ingredients, which I get from the Asian supermarkets, but you can also find some of these things in other supermarkets as well. You just get more for your money, more for your buck if you get them from Asian supermarkets. So, walking through the spices first. Sesame seeds. Now don't get mixed up with nigella seeds because they're just for, they're also called moor seeds as well, but they're more for bread making. So sesame seeds and black sesame seeds are really lovely, especially in Japanese cooking. Just nice sprinkled on top of salads or stir fries, really beautiful for that. Cinnamon bark, also known as cassia bark, is used in things like five spice, but also you can put them in things like rice or stews or casseroles, and they give it so much beautiful flavour as well. A lot cheaper if you buy these ones, which are a bit gnarly. They're not the usual ones that you see at Christmas in wreaths, which are usually about £1 each. And you can get these anything from 50p to £1 and last for ages as well. Star anise. This is a Chinese spice. You've probably seen these as well. Quite hard, smell a little bit of aniseed, and they're beautiful again in stir fries and stocks and marinades, really, really lovely. Cumin seeds, if you get things whole spices, they last for much longer. If you get things that are ground, the actual flavour goes out of them after about 3 months. It doesn't mean you can't use them, it just means they won't last as long, or you need to use a little bit more of them. So things like cumin are really lovely, and coriander seeds in Asian food. Paprika is a bit of an unusual one because you think of that more as your sort of Mediterranean spice, but I use that in something called nasi goreng, which is a stir-fried rice dish, and also use it in my pad thai as well because it just adds lovely earthy depth to it as well. Quite neutral spice. I always call my cumin and my paprika neutral spices because I use them in a lot of other ingredients as well, a lot of other recipes, but they don't overpower anything. Five spice, I tend to make my own. But really lovely in marinades for Chinese food as well. So that's the spices. Corn flour, essential ingredient for thickening agents in Chinese food. While I've got it, my chopsticks, do you know the difference in chopsticks? We've got Japanese, which are a bit pointy. We've got the Chinese, which are fatter at the end. And you've got Korean, which are normally stainless steel. That's them. Vietnamese spring roll wrappers, really, really thin. You just soak those in water. You can buy those in the Asian supermarket, usually 100. They just last in your store cupboard for ages. Seaweed, this is really nice just as a snack, but you can get all sorts of things like nori seaweed for making sushi. You can get kombu, which is really good for making a Japanese stock. Spices, I've got some mint down there. I didn't have a lot of mint in my garden this morning, and I actually thought I'd got some mint, and I smelt it, put it to my nose, and it was a stinging nettle. Don't do that, it's not good. Coriander, essential for Asian cooking. And Vietnamese like to mix coriander and mint together, which is beautiful together. Really, really lovely in salads, which we'll be doing later in the cookery series. And coriander-wise, the leaf is lovely to decorate, and you can use all this stem that's beautiful, just chopped up really small and used for long cooking, so it disintegrates down and you get the flavour from it. Coriander is from the seed of the coriander, so that's delicious. A few things that are a bit smelly. Shrimp paste, absolutely stinky. It smells like fish food. It comes like a block, but it's essential for Thai cookery and other Asian cookery too. And it brings out the flavour of your meat. So really, really good to use. There's a Chinese version of shrimp paste. If you've ever had seaweed, it's not seaweed. It tends to be deep fried cabbage or spinach. And they usually mix some of this shrimp paste or this shrimp powder with salt, sprinkle it on top to give it that lovely fishiness. Palm sugar, you can get palm sugar. It comes soft, but if you don't use it for a bit, it goes quite hard, but you can just break it up. Sometimes I break it up and put it in my coffee grinder and then make it all so I can shake it in everything. But if you haven't got that, that's not a problem. You can use brown sugar for Asian cooking. That's really lovely because it has that sort of molasses note that palm sugar has. If you haven't got brown sugar, use caster sugar or granulated sugar. It really doesn't matter too much. That's a really good make if you can't be bothered to make your red or green or yellow curry paste. Mum Pla is a really good one. A lot of the restaurants use that, so that's delicious. Coconut milk. When you buy your coconut milk, always look on the back for the extract. This is 53, so I wouldn't normally buy this. I'd normally buy something that's 60% or above. That's going to be a really good coconut milk. If you think about it, when you buy light coconut milk, which a lot of people do because they don't want the saturated fat, all you're getting is 30 or 40% coconut, the rest water. So you're much better using less of it and getting a better quality one. So always look for 60% plus with your coconut milk. The other version is the cream of coconut, which I'm going to use in my sattés. And that's pure coconut, but it's more preserved than that. I tend to like that for my Thai cooking, and I tend to use that more for my Indian cooking, but that's just my preference. And what have we got? We've got some Chinese pickles, which I always pick up from the Asian supermarket. Ginger, if you can see a line across the ginger, always chop it with that line, because the strands, the fibres, go the opposite way. Freeze that, really lovely frozen, and you can grate it straight from the freezer. My chilies, I don't always buy fresh chilies, or if I have a lot of fresh chilies, because I grow them as well, I put them in the freezer and you can just chop them straight from frozen, or they defrost in about 10 minutes. So that's what I do with those. Spring onions, perfect for Asian food, Asian cooking. Only take a little bit of the bottom off. You only want that gnarly bit at the bottom. And the top bit, don't waste too much of it. I've seen some people take a whole host of it off. Only take a little bit off the top and you can chop all that. Really lovely as well for garnish. Limes, always give them a massage first. Lime's essential for Asian food. There's a trinity of lime juice, fish sauce and sugar, brown sugar. And if you mix those together and finish off ingredients with those, stir fry, stews, casseroles, beautiful flavour, really brings the flavour out of the food. Fish sauce, again, one of those smelly ingredients, a bit like shrimp paste. It comes from Roman days. We used to make a fermented fish pot and put them in meat, mainly to disguise the fact that it was off, but also to bring the flavour out. So used all over Asia. We use Worcester sauce, it's the same thing, that's anchovies. Some other ingredients we've got here is you can't really not have sriracha sauce, Asian spicy sauce. There's also different versions of it now, so you can have those. Fortune cookies, they're handy to have when you're doing Chinese food. You've got your light soya sauce and you've got your dark soya sauce. Light soya sauce is more salty, but it's lighter, so you can use it for stir fries and for dips, that sort of thing. Dark soya sauce, more molasses, still salt in it, but not as much salt as the light soya sauce, and more sugar in it. So you can use that for your darker things, for your marinades. I always use dark soya sauce for gravy because it's better than using salt and pepper at the end. So you've got that saltiness from it, but you've also got that lovely rich flavour from it, and also that rich colour as well. Moving over to these other ingredients, when I go for soya sauce, I tend to use Chinese soya sauce for when I'm cooking, but I use Japanese sauce for dipping because it's so much nicer. Rice wine vinegar, perfect for marinades and all sorts of things. And it's quite light as well, so really, really good for stuff like that. I've also got some Healthy Boy brand seafood dipping sauce. Never tried it before, so in a little bit I'm going to try that because I've never had it. Don't know what it tastes like. Sweet soya sauce, that's a Chinese sweet soya sauce. So it's got a lot of sugar in it, but it's really thick and really rich as well. So perfect for dipping because it sticks to things. My absolute favourite dipping sauce is kecap manis, which is a sweet soya sauce from Indonesia, and that's absolutely beautiful. You can see how thick that is. It's like treacle. Oh, so good. That is so good. Obviously, everybody's heard of sweet soya sauce, Thai sweet soya sauce, but it's beautiful. Really, really lovely. I keep saying sweet soya sauce, don't I? Dyslexic chef. Chili sauce. Mirin or sushi seasoning. It's made with rice wine vinegar, but it's got kind of salt and sugar in it as well, and a little bit that's got this sort of sake notes to it as well, but really perfect for marinating or also putting in rice when you're doing sushi rice. Sesame oil, really rich, don't use a lot of it. If you're doing a stir fry, put maybe a tablespoon of oil in it. I use rapeseed oil because it's got this lovely natural nutty flavour to it, and it's a local ingredient too. And then just a little splash of this, half a teaspoon, because it's really rich, really intense. So you don't want too much of it, it really boosts that flavour. Fish sauce we've already gone over. This is Golden Mountain sauce. It's a Thai seasoning sauce. So instead of using any of this, you can just shake some of that in. It's a bit like Asian salt and pepper, really brings out the flavour of the food. You don't need all of this, you can use alternatives, and obviously you don't need 10 different types of soya sauces and 10 different types of chilli. But it's all there, just so you know what it all is. So when I'm using it in my Asian series, you'll know what it all is.